There we go. So let us start, Louise. I think.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and go. So what I'm going to do, basically just give you guys a basic outline for the very beginning before we have any like major questions that you might have about the units, is that I'm going to show you basic setup, the basic equipment that you have, and then I'm going to go through the software, how to get started on the software, how to run the detox programs that they have in there, as well as setting up your own programs. At that point, you should have most of the basics for getting started. Some of this is going to be a repeat for some of you like Shree and Jackie, who are already kind of, you know, using the system yourself. After that, we can go into deeper questions that you might have. So I'm going to share my screen here because the first thing that you, for this computer, this will stop other screen sharing. Do you want to continue? Yes, for right now. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you guys. That is, I don't know, are you seeing? No, you're not seeing that.
Yeah, we see the software and documents.
Okay, got it. Okay, so this one right here, this page that you have on the spooky2.com downloads page is the page that you're going to get all of your software. And this is the first thing that you're going to do when you get your kit, or even before you get your kit. You can download this software now. So for people like Sister Hansa, who is waiting for her equipment and her generators to get here, she has, you can go to this page on spooky2.com downloads page, and then you're going to want to start with the full package, which is here, which is the Spooky2 Starter Pack 2021-917. That is their latest uploads for the software installer. Later on, I will show you the page that you could go to get updates. I think I may have sent that out in an email that I sent out a couple months ago. It has all of these links, but I can redo that. And so you will regularly want to update your software. When I say regularly, it's probably about every 4 to 6 months. So 2 to 3 times a year, you may want to update your software because they come up with new programs, new presets, I'm trying to think because my brain is not working quite yet. New frequencies. Thank you. So this is where you will go here with the Spooky2 Starter Pack. You just follow the instructions. After you click on that, it will tell you how to download it. And then you just follow just like any other software on your computer. So I will.
Louise, question.
Yes.
So when I update, it would not affect my own program. If I've created some program or created a preset of my own, it won't in my user folder?
No, it won't. Okay. Especially if you go through the areas that I don't have it queued up, and it's kind of, for whatever reason, it's a little challenging for me to find each time. So that's why I have it bookmarked somewhere, but it will just take those parts that you are missing, the new, it will update those things and then put them in there and keep all of your, existing presets that are in there. So it is an open source software. You're probably more familiar with that, which makes it a little easier for it to not overwrite the things that you already have.
Right.
So I'm going to stop the share on that one. Did it take over the share on my other computer?
No.
Okay.
Nothing being shared.
I'm just, okay, so that's spooky. I'm trying to find, I don't want to pin that. Okay, yeah, hang on a second. It kind of took that off of there.
Yeah, because you can share only one thing at a time.
Only one thing at a time. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to just take my camera here and kind of move it over, and we'll see how it goes.
The other computer, you should be able to share from the other computer.
Yeah, I need to
Let me see if I see two of you here.
Yeah, I should. There's two of me there. It's just I was sharing the screen for the other one, so it knocked it off of there. So I will reshare. I will share that again. So can you see that
coming up? Yeah.
With the software. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's good. But now that I'm doing that, I can't do the video. You guys can see.
Well, I mean, as long as we can see the screen and we can hear your voice, we are okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this one we're not actually going to be doing at first. I'm going to be doing the camera thing, so I may have to. You're viewing that one, so yeah, I'm going to have to. And can you guys see me or just hear me right now?
Both see you, hear you, and see the screen.
Okay, so I'm just trying to see myself with the because it doesn't want to.
Okay, Louise, I don't remember.
It isn't that. I just need to be able to see because I'm going to move the camera, right? I'm going to move the camera, and so I want to be able to see where I am, where I'm going. And for some reason, I'm not seeing myself, which is there we go. All right, okay, fine. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. I adjusted it a little bit and was able to bring it over. So the first thing that I wanted to show you is my Spooky2 setup. So what we have right here is we have, and this one is the XM generator, which is the blue generator. And this one right here is the generator X. Now I know that Shri bought this one, the blue XM generator.
Right.
And the generator X, I know Jackie has one of those. I don't know who else has bought those. But the nice thing is that any of the attachments, any of the hardware will all hook into both of these. You don't have to have separate ones. So when you get your kit, you will get one of these generators. And so as you can tell, this generator right here, the XM generator, has these ports, but you only really you can only really serve one person at a time, one set of programs at a time. Whereas in here, you could see in my generator X, I have two programs that are running on two separate people because it has two separate ports that's running. So that is the difference between these two, as well as this generator X here. You can also unplug it from your computer after you have downloaded programs into it and run it when it is off of the computer. And we can go over that later, but I won't go over that right now because I just want to do the basics. So when you get your kit, you're going to end up getting different things for different modes of treatment. The one that I have on here is what is called the Spooky Remote, where you put in DNA in here. I have stickers that are in here, so you can use the stickers. So you put nails are probably the best DNA that you want to put in there. They last longer. Hair only lasts about a week or two for the DNA that's in there. You can also buy things that you can use for spit, blood, urine, but it's a separate connector that you would have to buy. I do not have one of those at this time. So right here, I have set up the basic equipment that comes with it. Now this is for contact mode right here. These are the handhelds. Now most of you guys will get stainless steel ones in the new kits that are coming out, which I kind of like better. I ended up with plastic ones. They connect to your Spooky system. You also have TENS pads that you can connect in two places on your body that is for contact mode as well. So you have two separate ways that you can do contact mode. These all connect to the same cable that is connected to my handhelds that are here. So this is for contact mode. So when you'll understand this when I get to the software, but there's different ways that the Spooky system transmits the frequencies, and you have to have the right the right program shells to be able to use each of these things. The next ones that I'm going to show you is the laser. These are cold laser that you use in your nose for nose plugs. And then this is the wrist cold laser that you can do. So you have two different options here for using laser programs. And then you have here, most of you will probably end up getting this. I haven't messed with this much, but most of you will probably end up getting this. This is what is called the Spooky2 Biofeedback Scanner. So you can use this to do grade scans and biofeedback scans. You have ones that you can stick your finger in here and run through, and it will help you find frequencies that your body wants and needs. Again, I haven't messed with this, but this is a way that they have set it up where you can try to narrow down which programs and which frequencies are the best for you. And they have lots of different videos and stuff on how to run that and use it. So I'll mess around with it some when I finally get around to it. The one that we're going to be focusing mostly on today is going to be the Spooky2 remote. This comes with a booster that you hook up to your generator, and it comes with the Spooky2 remote clamshell. And you will put your DNA inside there on the white pad, inside a sticker of some kind, or encapsulated in something, and then you will shut that down into the clamshell. The remote is the one that is probably the most versatile because you can go about your day and have these programs running and it won't keep you stuck or hooked up to wires or anything. So what I'm going to show you right now is how to hook up the booster, because once you get your kit, the first thing you will want to do is after you've hooked up your generator to your computer and you have the software going, is you're going to want to hook up this booster. So I'm going to see if I could do this here. So what you want to do with the Spooky2 boosters, you're going to want to use what is called the BN ports. That is the left side ports on your the XM generator. On the generator X, they don't give you any other options, right? Because you just have those BN ports that are set up in the unit already. So you don't have any confusion on the generator X, but on the XM port. So this one will be the left one. So I will set this down here and see if I can get this.
So,
okay.
Louise, a question.
Yes.
Can I connect the remote directly without the booster, or that's not an option? Do you know?
I have heard of some people doing that, but they don't recommend it right now. They recommend you using the
booster.
Because it makes it does amplify the frequencies that are in the generator, that are in the remote. So
right.
And also it can do harmonics better because it connects two of the ports as opposed to just one. And actually I made a mistake there when I was saying that. So it looks opposite for you guys. I know it looks like it's on the other side because the camera shows it opposite, but it is the left side of your XM generator that you want to put it in. When I mentioned the BN port, actually I should have said that it was the BN port, because you have on the Spooky Boost, because the bottom two on the Spooky Boost, these two right here, you have a BN port and you have an MN port. Mm-hmm. You rarely use the MN port. Okay. The BN port is the one that you want. Again, it is on the left. Kind of ignore what you're seeing from my camera because it's showing up backwards. But on the left.
We see it correctly, Louise.
Oh, you see it correctly. I see it opposite. Okay, then it's just me.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so on the left here is where the BN port is, where you're going to connect your the Spooky remote. So I will hook that up here. And then you just pop it in there and spin the connector. And so you have the Spooky2 remote connected at that point, and then you would put your clamshell in here, put your DNA, you know. So here's me, and I would just pop that in there. So we have them in there, and then close that, and you're good to go. The generators themselves, hooking them up to your computer, it's just as simple as plugging them into a power source with one cord and then plugging them into your computer, the USB port into your computer, and then it is hooked up. You will need to have your generators plugged in and turned on before you open up the software. If you open up the software before you turn the computer on, I mean, if you have the, if you open the software before you turn the generators on, the software will not see your generators. So you will need to make sure that you have your generators turned on and plugged in, and before you open up your software, or else it will not see the generator. Okay, do we have any questions so far about plugging everything in and what you get from the kit?
So one of the things that I do, Louise, I don't know whether that is applicable when you start. If I turn off, sometimes I had to turn off the generator. I just got plugged off from the outlet. So what I do on the utility, I can rescan it and it recognizes the generator. It picks it up.
Okay, so say that again.
So there is a utility, UTIL, in the drop-down menu. And if I do, like in the utils, UTIL, you see on the upper utils, there's a drop-down.
Uh-huh.
And then there's one option. If you choose that option to rescan the devices, it'll pick up the generator.
Yes, you can do that as well. I'm just saying that the easiest way to do it is to have everything turned on before you turn your software on. So yeah, I'm kind of, I haven't messed around probably as much with software as you have, Shri. So some of this is, you know, I've still haven't found certain things. So what I'm going to do right now, I may have to turn off my other one, but what I'm going to do is, you guys are all looking at the software right now. So this is what the software is going to look like when you first open up your software. You have this house right here, which is the home button. And when and this will bring up all of this stuff for you, everything from biofeedback, which when I was telling you about doing the biofeedback scans, you can click on that. Specific things for COVID-19, specific things for cancer, DNA detox, environmental issues, frequency sweeps that you can do through your body, healing programs that are already, some healing programs that are already set up in there, miscellaneous stuff, specific things for Morgellons and Lyme, radionics, if you are to actually get one of the Spooky2 radionics machines, the shell empty presets, and then user is going to be where all of your software, that all the programs that you create is in user. So the first thing that you will want to do is do a detox program. This is what they recommend for everything. Before I do that, really quick, let's go over to your programs, settings, and control. Now control, click on control, and it will show you, this is going to be the page that you are going to be on for it to show you. This shows you where your generators are. So I have 3 ports in my generator. So I'm going to have 3 of these squares. Don't ask me why it didn't come up 1, 2, 3, but it went 3, 4, 5, but you'll figure out which one is yours and which one isn't. This one right here is the generator that I just hooked up. This is the XM generator. Notice that we don't have any programs set up in here. Okay, this is the generator X that I have, and you click on that, and it is running it'll tell you where it's running a program. And as you notice, I'm running a very, long looping program, and this is for someone that I'm treating for a stroke, and then we're restoring physical strength and doing an anxiety program on this one. And then on the second port, on the generator X, I am doing a program that I set up with specific presets for my father-in-law, who has been having some micro strokes and a concussion. So I set up this program for him. So if we go back to presets, so you've gotten everything hooked up now and you have your software loaded up, you can go into here, and the first thing that you're going to want to do is run a terrain program. And this is something that Spooky recommends over and over again, that you want to clear your body of toxins before you start running healing programs, unless of course you have cancer or Lyme and Magellan's. They have a specific protocol for those, but for everyone else, you go to detox. Now notice they have a coil contact. I do not have the Spooky coil, but you will get the contact and the laser that's in there. I don't have a plasma and I don't have a scalar machine, but I do have these three. I have the contact, the two different types of contact. I do have the two different types of laser, and I do have the remote. So they are all separated into the forms that you can deliver the frequencies. So we're going to go into remote, and you have all of these terrain programs. You have terrain low power, terrain mercury low power, terrain non-violent. And let me explain what these are here. These low power ones are ones that if you have a reaction to these three, the terrain, terrain mercury, terrain non-violent, if it's too strong for you, you can go for a lower power one. So when you go into the terrain program and you click on that, it has all of these programs set in for an 11-day cycle. You have two different types of remove metals. You have remove chemical materials. You have remove systemic toxins 1 and 2, remove intestinal toxins. And it just goes down through the list: parasites and liver function, kidney function, cleanse blood, intestinal parasites, lymphatic system 1 and 2. So it does a whole body cleanse, and it goes down through over 11 days, and it eliminates from the body as much of this as it possibly can in that 11 days. Now, how do you know if you're having a reaction to running this terrain program? Some people over the course of that time, or even after a short period of time, like me, I start getting headaches or dizziness or intestinal problems where you have to run to the bathroom. So it may mean that it's too strong for you to handle 11 days at a go. So what they recommend is that you can go to the low power terrain that is in here, and you have 1/4, 1/2, then 1 and 2 up to the full terrain program. If you do the lower powers, what they recommend that you do is you run one 11-day program at the lowest, and then you run the next one and run the next one until you have completely gone through the whole system. Now, if you had a lot of reactions to, sorry, let me go back to detox. If you had a lot of reactions to the terrain program, but were able to handle it, they also recommend that you might want to give your body 3 days, 72 hours to recover, and then try it again, 11 days, and see if you can get through it without any issues. Now, when they have mercury, and the mercury programs and the non-violent programs, the mercury program will remove all metals minus mercury. And the reason why they put that in there is because a lot of people have dental work that has had mercury in there, and there's no way to for the Spooky to completely clean that out of your system until you have had that removed. And so it causes people a lot of issues and sometimes pain. So if you have fillings and you would want to choose the removed metals minus mercury, if you know that you have a lot of parasites that may cause you issues, or you know that you react poorly to and that type of thing with some of these, with the regular terrain program, it may be because you do have parasites in your body, and that the parasites themselves are very robust is your system, let's put it that way. And so you may want to try the non-violent program, which means that it will not kill any living organisms that are within your body at that time, and then work towards specifically treating those parasites with different programs. So the terrain program you run for 11 days, and then you can run other programs afterwards. Again, that is a recommendation. You can choose to not run the terrain program and say, hey, I'm dealing with something right now that I really want to get taken care of before I do my terrain program. So you can run those as well. It's just the recommendation that they say that that from their experience that you get a better healing reaction from other programs if you run the detox programs first. Also, once you have run those detox, the terrain program, again, this is probably something you're going to want to run 2 or 3 times a year to just clean things out, or you can do a detox maintenance thing like once a month. This one is just a basic maintenance program that does toxins throughout the body, the kidneys, liver, parasites in the intestines, and that type of stuff, as well as the common streptococcus, which is just everywhere, and it detoxes your lymphs. So that is something that you can do. I've done it, I do tend to run that quite frequently, about once a month or whatever. So, and if you notice, it has over here in the corner, the estimated run time. So for this one, it has 4 hours, 56 minutes. I usually run this in about a 24-hour period. I just loop it. It's like until you tell the Spooky to stop, it just continues to run these programs and presets. So this one will run almost 5 hours long.
Where do you see that?
It's over. Can you see? Yeah, it's over in the far right corner over there. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah, I see it. Well, you know what, my screen thing was the picture of everybody was over.
Yeah, I know. I had to move that too. I was like, where are you?
Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much.
So over here, like if you hit the terrain program, you will notice it has 1 hour and 5 minutes. That's only for like one section of the removed metals, because they can't put 11 days or whatever. It doesn't track all of those, because if you notice down at the bottom it says presets and chains. What they have done is they have this one right here, remove metals, is one preset, and they have chained it to another set of another preset, and I will explain that a little bit more so that you know what's going on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go I think I'm going to tell you guys, because everybody's concerned about COVID-19. So I'm going to show you the programs that they have for COVID-19. Notice they only have these 3 recommended contact modes or recommended modes for COVID. So we'll go to remote, and you will notice that they have here programs that are set up specifically to detox from each of the vaccines. They also have the Fleming method, and when you click on that, the Fleming method has all of these things, the molecular weight of vitamin C and vitamin D, zinc, NAC, and so it has all of this in here, which is they're saying it's not quite as robust as actually taking all of these things themselves, but it does give a benefit because it is the molecular weight of all of these. But notice where it says down in presets and chains, it just says COVID-19 Fleming method, but in here it tells you all of the programs that are within this one preset right here. So when we saw all those 1, 2, 3, 4 down in the terrain down in here, that means that they have chained together programs like this that have all of these things in it, and they've hooked all of those together. That's why it takes 11 days to run. So you have a spike protein sweep, and different things for spike proteins. You actually have a graphene oxide removal program that is in here. Notice that over on the side over here that it only is 5 minutes long. So this would be one of those that you may want to run in a loop. I would make one caution for running single frequency programs. This may not be a single frequency program, but it looks like it might be. Just because it's custom, it may have more frequencies. But if you're running one specific frequency, let's say 880 hertz, okay, and you decide that that is the frequency that you need and you want to run that, you probably don't want to run that more than 3 hours long, or have a program that is 3 hours long, because you can end up with what they call frequency fatigue. So you want something that is going to, that you want it to run it long enough that it does what it's supposed to be doing. But if you are only sticking with one frequency, you can get frequency fatigue. And that is typically just usually headaches, sometimes irritability, emotional type of things happen. And that is what they call frequency fatigue. Myself, when I am making programs in general, I try to keep them 3 hours or less, even if they have several different frequencies in there, just because I want them to be able to loop back through those frequencies, and it gives less of a chance of having any type of frequency fatigue.
Now, they don't have one for the J&J?
They do. J&J is AstraZeneca and J&J T-Tox, because
I'm sorry, I didn't see the J&J. Okay.
Yeah, no, and it is because because the construction of these two are similar. They are, as opposed to Moderna and Pfizer, are the mRNA. They're all mRNA, but the Pfizer and Moderna do them differently. J&J has, and AstraZeneca has the same type of production, the way that they create the vaccine. So you, so when you get in here, it's because of, I can't think of it. It starts with an A. Adenovirus. These are adenovirus vaccines. They use an adenovirus as a carrier for the spike protein, whereas Moderna and Pfizer use the recombinant, the mRNA, to create their vaccine. So that is why those are together.
I see you have spike protein sweep. And
yes, you have a spike protein sweep. And when you look in the notes over here, it says this preset sweeps a large range of frequencies using SARS-CoV-2 spike protein data from 8/16/2021. So, and it gives you information. And then it says the sweeps preset may not be as effective as using specific spike protein data from your area. So they have a top 30 preset over here, which has a higher probability of hitting the proteins that are in here. I will go back. If you have an active case of COVID-19, what you want to do is, even though these are set up as COVID-19 in here, you want to go to DNA. And under DNA, they have all of this stuff for bacteria, but they also have two separate sections for COVID-19 and COVID-19 proteins. So you have all of these like DNA programs that go in and kill these things. That's why it's these are all kill programs in here, and to kill specific diseases. So if you go into the COVID-19 one for the remote, you will have this program for current strains. This is another reason why we will need to be updating our software fairly frequently, because they keep on top of the current strains for all of this. So notice the estimated runtime for this is 7 hours, 6 minutes. But if you go down, it will tell you this preset contains the following strains. My goodness, it'll go down through that whole entire thing, and it will go for every single known strain that has been found in the world. That is why it takes 7 hours to go through this. It will do a 10, I think it's 10 minutes per strain, a kill program on 10 minutes per strain, and it will go through. Notice they have specific things for the USA in here. I wonder if most of these are USA and Arizona. Yeah, see, They have ones for India right here, programs for India. This is the one that is for Japan. You have Saudi Arabia. USA has it specifically set up for each each state. You can go in here. So all of the ones for, wow, California's got a lot of them. So do we have a lot in Colorado, USA, Colorado. These are all the ones that have been found over the past 1.5 to 2 years.
But when you run the program, it does all of them, you're saying?
It does all of them. So if you happen to, you know, and here's Florida, all the ones for Florida. But these are all the ones that are all of the strains from all over the world. Some of the ones that, unless they're, you know, like you see most of these in the USA, right? Most of them are in the USA. Doesn't mean that means that those aren't anywhere else in the world. It's just that this is how they're categorizing it for, you know.
They were discovered here, right?
Discovered here, essentially, type of thing, where we have all of these different ones. And I don't know, from some of the things that I've seen in the forum, the United States is just better at finding the different types of strains than or creating them, however you want to look at it.
Yes, exactly.
However you want to look at it. So
which program would you choose, Louise, for the spike, the shedding or transmitting?
The shedding, those would be the ones that I would go into this COVID-19 one here, the ones that are specific to the to the vaccines itself. These in here with the spike protein sweep and the graphene oxide removal. All of those are, you could even run, if you know which vaccine people have had, you can do that, or you could chain all these together and then run those if you just want to, you know, any of these detox programs for the virus, for the vaccine, will assist you in getting rid of any shedding from that type of stuff. But you can do the spike protein sweep or the spike proteins, and that will also help you. So if you go back into the DNA, you can go, we have the, so we have the remote where it shows only one. And for some reason, my computer doesn't want to back up. So I got to go through this. So if we go to the proteins, this one is a current strain of the proteins themselves. This one's 1 hour and 45 minutes long, but this contains the following strains of proteins that have been found in all of there. So all of them will assist you in getting rid of COVID-19 in your body. Usually when if I'm running somebody who has had, say you have an active case of COVID, somebody has come up with COVID, I usually end up going in and running this current strains program, the 7-hour program. I run that first, just one time on the remote to kill any potential, version of the strain that's in there. After I've run it one time through, then I will go back and go to the COVID-19 ones that are in here. And I usually run a combination of the spike protein sweep, and the Fleming method that is in here. If I go back to this section here and I click on user, you will see all of the programs that I have created and some that Siren has given me for at the beginning. These are COVID-19 ones that he gave for 2020. He's got a remote program for the beginning of 2021 that he has created that has kill protein programs and all of those things that are down in here that he has done specific for that.
Is the bulk of your work done remote?
The bulk of my work is done remote, primarily because you don't have people that are, I work on a lot of people who aren't in my home, or if we are in our home, we we're walking around, you know. I will say that for somebody who has a acute case of, actually anybody who doesn't have, who gets COVID from the beginning, okay, so someone in your family has gotten COVID, what I usually will end up doing is I will end up running the laser program. Let's see, current strains, that's 27 hours on it. That was long. What I ended up doing for my husband is I went through the DNA one. I'm trying to figure out. And then laser. So I found you can go into the programs. I found the current strains, and I ran a laser program for an hour on my husband, the beginning of all of us, actually, in February when we had it. And I'm trying to figure out, it was different back then. I had updated my software. So I'm wondering, yeah, all of these are long programs. It was basically, I narrowed it down. You remember how I showed you over here where it had all of the different programs for COVID-19. I narrowed it down to the ones that were in Colorado, and I just ran those for like an hour on the laser, and it seemed to have be very impactful. I'll have to dig through and figure out. I think you can go into programs and just type in COVID-19 and it will give you all the different ones that you can use. Let me just look at that really quick. And so we type in COVID and we do a search. There you go. And it gives you all of these different programs that are in here for any of the different types of COVID-19.
So these are besides the one you showed.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I was just asking, these are besides the one that you showed earlier, right?
These are, all of the ones that I showed earlier include all of these in here. These are just separate ones. Like if we click on this one, it'll give you this particular, you know, sequence of things that are in here. The difference is that if you wanted to, you could choose one of these programs and set it in a laser preset, and it'll only take an hour, as opposed to the 27 hours that I was looking. I was like, good grief, or 30 minutes, you know, for a coronavirus COVID, you know, that type of thing. 30 minutes for that. So let's go back to the presets really quick, and we'll go to user, because down here I made a COVID immune chain. So I took a program which is the COVID-19 programs, current strains, DNA for this one. I chained it to another program that I made that was immune system stimulation, which I have down here, is one of these that, and then actually these are presets they have. Immune system stimulation is another program that they had in here, and the Schumann resonance that I have in here. And so it's connected 3 of the programs that I have here into a chain so that they will run this program, and then it'll automatically run this program, and then it will automatically run this program. So you don't have to put everything all together all in once. So if I look at my immune support program, so these are all of the presets that I have in here: immune support sweep, inflammation, adrenal gland balance, pancreas balance. All of this type of stuff is just in that program. If I wanted to chain it to, say, immune support and I don't know, so we could do immune support and gut health, then I would put this down here as chain immune support, what's in there, and I want to connect it to gut health. Now gut health has all of these in here, and I want to run these together. Then I would chain these together. You would hit this save button down here, and that saves the chains. Kind of getting ahead of myself here, because this is where you would make your own program. So why don't we go ahead and I will show you how to make a program. So let's see, so we're going to go to the shell, the empty presets. When we go in here, you will find that they have empty shells for contact, plasma, remote, and scalar. They also have these in general stuff that you can do for cold laser stuff in here as well. There's only one cold laser program. If you want to make a laser program, that's the one that you would use. If you have the coil, this is the one that you would use. So we're going to go into remote. And when you go in here, you see all of these potential shells. Okay. So you have ones for DNA. These with harmonics, this one gives specific harmonics. This one does specific offsets. Again, those are things that are for more advanced people. We can get into that later. But if you want to nail some kind of a parasite or bacteria or something along those lines, you may want to choose a DNA program that will specifically go for DNA. And it tells you this is a shell preset containing no frequencies. It's designed to run DNA frequencies. So this program that says dual, program frequencies are split between the out and 1 and out 2 of your generator. This halves the treatment time. So this preset has been designed to loop continuously until stopped. So DNA frequencies gives you more information that is very high. No frequency generator can reach these frequencies. So this preset targets the subharmonics of those frequencies so that you get the effect that you need. Okay, so you can run a DNA frequency. If you want to run the molecular weight of essential oils, you would do specific things that are on here. I haven't tried the Generator X online, offline general. The golden ratio is one that is a preset also for killing pathogens. This one has programs that you can, if you want to kill things, it says right here, that will give your pathogens the thumping they deserve. If you really want to kill parasites or whatever, this would probably be a good one to do. I haven't messed with this one before, but you have your healing programs in here, which is the healing dual. Again, a lot of times I will do this because it halves the treatment time. So if I don't want to go over my 3 hours and I want these things to loop, sometimes I will use the dual program. But you have 3 different shells that you can use for healing. You have one that if you have no idea if you're trying to kill something or trying to heal something, you can use this one, the kill or heal. And then you have 3 killing programs in here specifically for killing specific, even, tumors or any of that type of thing. Although I'm not sure exactly why it's not showing up anyway, but this is remote killing and applying biofeedback sets. So you can do this for applying. I'm trying to figure out how come that one isn't coming up with anything. What
does the JW and the MM and the JK, is there any significance?
No, those are just the creators, the programmers of the ones. Some people in Spooky are very committed to one particular, these people, JK, JW, MM, they have been around since the beginning. And so some of them are very, and they can go, I'm going to scare all of you. I'm going to hit the settings button. Look at this. So they can mess with all of this stuff that's in here. And they know all of the changing of waveforms and frequencies and amplitudes and wobbles and harmonics and all of that type of stuff. So they set up these shells to be able to do that to the frequencies. Some people prefer prefer one type of programmer over another. So they set up these shells. So why doesn't somebody give me something that they're hoping to treat or that they would like to treat with?
So before we do that, Louise, a question. Why do you have, because there's nothing in these, right? These are all empty. So why do you have so many of them? I mean, you could have just one and we can choose what you want to put in it.
Because while they are empty of the specific frequencies, they are not exactly empty. They are set up with controls for how it runs the generator, for how it does the offsets for the frequencies, what harmonics it sets up. It does all of those tolerances for each frequency that you set in there. So when you're running the frequencies in your generators, we tend to have this idea that it's just going to run that frequency straight, that is going to be nothing but that frequency that comes through there. But like you saw in the settings page, there is a lot of stuff that needs to be adjusted to make sure that you get the best function from that frequency. So the harmonics, the offsets, all of that. So that is already done for you. So you don't have to mess with that settings page. You can set up straight frequencies and mess with the settings and set up your own harmonics and wobble and all of that. But it can get as simple or as complicated as you want. So
what is the frequency? What is what is used?
So they call it it's not exactly a frequency like we hear, like that in auditory frequency. It's I'm trying to think of the specific name that they use for it, but it is a quantum frequency. I think they could sometimes they call it a quantum frequency, but it's more of a resonance than it is an auditory frequency. They do have auditory frequencies that they can use as well. They frequently give out on Spooky that you can listen to that has a lot of the same effects. That's just not as strong.
And when you're speaking of doing all of these remote, is the person that you're working on wearing anything, or is it how does the connection?
You know, everybody has that question because they don't wear anything and they're like, how do you know that it gets to that person? And then they're like, it just seems like magic. But the more and more that we learn about the energy that we emit from our body, it goes outside. I mean, they've measured it in science, and it's like that. It's not the torus or whatever, but the field that comes off of your body, and it is very, very specific to each person. Each person is very, very different in that energy field that they emit. This specific thing, so that's why you have the DNA there. It connects basically it just connects to whatever energy field that is. I mean, I've seen this work across the country, across the world.
Okay, so, that makes sense. So that's the key. That's the key, is that piece of DNA that you...
The piece of DNA that's in there. Now, I will say that you can, if you have, and this is where you start getting into very metaphysical realm, but you can also take a picture of someone. If they have given you their permission, I want you to treat me on the Spooky2, but I'm sick now and I can't get the DNA to you. You can take that person's picture, write down things specific, like where they live and even their other identifying things that are on there, fold that thing up and put it into the Spooky, and with your intention of that this person and you're connecting with that person, and it will have the same effect. Which, again, how much of that is your intention and how much of that is that the person knows that they're going to be treated and it makes that energetic connection with that person, I don't know. But it is fascinating that it works. And so, I don't know how much can be put up to the placebo effect in that case, where, you know, it's like they believe that they're getting treated, and, you know, and our minds have this powerful ability to heal ourselves. But at the same time, it is remarkable how many people have been helped doing it that way as well. To me, scientifically, it makes more sense with the DNA, but it has worked the other way as well.
Wow.
Okay, so does anyone have any, like I said, does anyone have a specific thing that they're curious about setting up a program for?
How about dental teeth?
Dental teeth? Okay. So are we talking about
The gums, strengthening the gums? If you have
strengthening the gums and all of that? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to choose, I will choose a healing program here. I will choose this,
Okay.
this preset that is in here. So I'll do the healing dual. Then what we want to do is we want to go to programs, this tab in programs. I don't know why this thing is jumping down. So in here, we are going to put in, we'll just do gums or gum. Let's try gum because it's like, and we'll see what comes up with these things. So you have all of these different programs that are in here. So that come up with something that has to do with gum. Now this one just has gum, so arguments, so you wouldn't want to do that, but gums. But if we have in here, my mouse is doing things. We have dental abscess, dental infection, virus, gingivitis. So let's say if you're looking for health, somebody has gum disease and gingivitis. So you would click on this and say inflammation of gums caused by plaque leading to periodontitis. You have dental infection, roots and gums, that type of stuff. Gingivitis, you would probably want to, you might want to do a kill program in there. So you might want to, but we're just going to do a heal thing on this one. So we have different types of gingivitis, different types of gum diseases. You can have a general gum disease program. Let's say, okay, you know, or just gums in general. This one right here is just for swollen gums and that type of stuff. So let's say somebody has inflammation. They don't know they have gum disease. They don't know that they've had gingivitis. So we just want to treat the inflammation. So then we would click on the inflammation 1 or 2, whichever one we want to do. Looks like both of them are very similar in frequencies, specific frequencies that they have here. And we're going to add this down here. And we're going to say, oh yeah, we want to add in this extra 70 because it's not, we're going to plunk that in there. And so let's see, you're thinking you have bacteria and different stuff, papillomas virus. You can go down through any of these type of things. You also have the molecular weight for all kinds of different medicines that will treat gum disease, benzoin, pantothenic acid. Let's see, yeah, any of those type of things. So if you wanted to add some of those things in there, you can add pantothenic acid. So let's also look up, just to make sure that we're being a little more thorough, let's look up dental and see what they come up with, just general dental programs. So you have jaw cavitations, dental 1, 2, abscess, jawbone, dental bacteria, diseases, comprehensive oral health, including periodontal disease. There you go. We'll put that one in there. Okay. So we have our program set up with, you know what, and let's go ahead and throw in, because we want to get rid of inflammation. The only problem with their search is that if you do spell things wrong, it will not find it. So if you're looking for something specific, you'll have to have the specific name. So we have inflammation here. It has all of the things that could potentially have inflammation in it. And so we'll just go down and find a basic inflammation program. So we'll go down to I, and we'll find all of these inflammation programs. gastrointestinal, urethral, that type of thing. So we'll do inflammation 1 here. So it gives you a description of such as pathogens, damaged cells, irritants, but we want to put in a inflammation program. So we have our gum health program here. We're going to go back to the presets page, and we are going to hit this save button here, little disc, and we're going to click on that. And it is going to bring up this. So what I do, notice I have one here that's laser, immune plus kidney. I made a laser program on this one, but for the most part, all the rest of these are set up for remote. I usually do this so that I can track which things that I'm making. So I'm going to say remote, and then I'm going to say gum health on this one so that I know where. So we have gum health. And then I'm going to hit save. And then it's going to blink. And I'm going to go back to the home button, to user. And then I am going to find gum health right here. And we'll click on gum health. So then what I'm going to do, if I can find out how to close this so I can get to the control button, I need to move you. Yes, move. So we're going to run our gum health program. And so we go here to control. So we're going to go to control. I'm going to click on Overwrite Generator. You want to do this one so that there isn't, sometimes your generators will hang on to presets and frequencies that you have put in there before. So you want to overwrite whatever is in your generator to be able to run the program. And I'm going to click on this one because we're going to send it to the XM generator because these two right here are running things. So we're going to click on the XM generator and it brings up gum health. So here's generator 3, remote gum health, gives you all of these programs, presets that we put in here in our own program. And then all you need to do, and it tells you that it's going to be 42 minutes long. And then you just hit start. After you've had the person put into the remote, you know, the DNA put into the remote, where we're going to run that. And so then let me see about grabbing my camera again, just to give you this, give you a look at this. So as you can tell, the lights are on my remote, although I don't think, oh, no, I'm in there. So I'm getting a gum health program.
Yeah, we can see it, yeah.
Okay, so, and then when you look at, I'm wondering if it will show up in there. You can see that you have these blue things that say that the channel 1 and channel 2 are on. If those happen to be red, that means that your generator is not actually sending out the programs. So those are, I know it's kind of hard to see, but
yeah, you can see it.
You can see that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have those there, and it means that your stuff is running. I'm thinking I'm knocking things down. But so we're running this program, and if you want this program to only run one loop, the 42 minutes, and you're like, I want to be done, this little button over here stops the generator after it has completed the program or the current program loop, right? So any of the other programs that you're running on other generators will not be affected. So you click this and it turns your generator button blue. That means that after 42 minutes, your program will stop automatically. If you want your program to loop and just keep looping until you stop it, you just leave it alone and it will run. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. Now, maybe I won't because I want to have all those other ones up.
So Louise, if I keep it running, can it do harm or?
No, I have not heard of anyone having specific harm. My recommendation would be is that if you start getting something like a headache that doesn't have any other reason for it, but potentially the frequencies, if you are having, some people can get dizziness, occasionally they will get gut upset, sometimes they will get just sudden onset of like brain fog or something like that. It could mean that there is a frequency that inside any of these presets that your body really doesn't like. And so my suggestion with any type of healing technology or anything that you would do with medication or supplements is listen to your body and listen to, if you are noticing that you are just really in a bad mood and you have no reason for that, just seem to come out of the blue, a lot of times this will affect more your emotional state than it will affect your physical state. It just might be that one of those frequencies really doesn't agree with you. It doesn't mean that it is going to do any lasting harm, but it does mean that you probably want to stop that program, see how you feel, and then go, all right, well, let's see if we can track down what's, what things are not working. I will tell you that there's sometimes, like in the terrain program, all of a sudden I will start feeling just anxious or not doing very well or having a little bit of a dizziness or whatever. And then I will go over to the terrain program and I will look over at what specific things it's working on, like in this case, gum inflammation or gums or any of that type of thing. And it's, it's on a specific section. And I'll be like, wow, okay, I either have something that really needs to be detoxed and pulled out of there, or I'm not reacting very well to that given frequency. So sometimes I have just let it go through until it shifts to another section, and sometimes it'll clear up and I'll go, okay, well then either, I really, really needed that because it needed to clean that out, or I'm not reacting very well to that specific subset of frequencies. And there is a way to be able to like narrow it down and find out which frequencies, like in here, like which specific frequency is running, because sometimes I'll look at the thing and it'll be like one frequency is running and I'm not feeling very well, but by the time it flips to the next one, it goes, oh, okay, well then I do not react very well to 20 hertz or whatever that type of thing is. Right. So it's just kind of listening.
And it doesn't hurt the person?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't do any lasting. None of this that I know of has ever done any particularly lasting harm. The one thing, the detox programs can be very intense, like, so people who have cancer and their immune systems are very fragile. They recommend going through the steps for their cancer protocol as opposed to doing the terrain protocol, because that could be overwhelming for their body. There's specific places on the body that you don't want to put the contacts on, those adhesive contacts. You don't want to put them over your heart. You don't want to put them on your neck. Or your head, those type of things, because you're using, some of that is electrical frequencies that will interrupt things. If you have a pacemaker or something along those lines, you have to be a little more careful with contact mode. But when it comes to the remote, you don't. So just with anything, I have seen people who have left the contacts on too long and given themselves burns. But sometimes that has to do with the fact that the contact wasn't put on, wasn't sticking or adhering to the skin very well. So it was actually air in between, and it caused, it caused damage. But also the person left it on there for like 12 hours. So,
Yeah.
So nothing is risk-free, but the chances of you doing any lasting harm, I'm finding, is it's super minimal. And like I said, and if you're paying attention to how these things make you feel, then you have less chance of doing that. And quite frequently, I have never heard of anybody doing a heal program using the heal shells and presets having any issues. It typically comes when you come to the killing shells, the detox ones. Those are the ones that you start feeling you start having certain issues. Now, as you get into this, you have all of this in here that you can play with. The amplitude wobble, frequency wobble. I haven't messed with any of these because for the most part, I've had great success just running the programs this way. So you can at any time, say, okay, it gets down to your, you need to pause a program in here, you can pause it, or you had to stop the program, power went off, whatever, you had to stop the program. You can always go back and say, we just want to start at 5,000. I know it stopped at this frequency here at 5,000. So you just click on this, hit start, and it will automatically start at the frequency that it left off.
So what's the difference between pause and hold?
I don't honestly know. I'd have to look that up. I haven't actually used that. So, I'm thinking that pause is just a temporary thing, and it holds it in whatever frequency it is, and then you can hit start again. I suppose we can actually start this, and then
I was wondering whether when you do a hold, it will hold the last frequency and just keep doing that frequency.
Yeah, toggle the hold for this generator. Hold means to freeze the program at its current frequency. So yes, so say you want to just keep running this frequency for longer than the duration that they have it for 3, 5, 10 minutes, whatever the duration is that they have for this one, and you just wanted to just run this frequency for a while, you would hit hold. And then pause just pauses the generator is all it does.
Yeah, so that's the difference. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you can, each individual thing is like, like Shri, you found a lot of things that I never even thought to look for. I just been messing around and went, oh, hey, this is how I do this. So there's a lot of things that you can do. But for the most part, this will get you going on the program. So what do we have specific questions then?
No, this is pretty good. I mean, we were asking questions in between, and I think as you were going along, you were answering questions that I had in my mind. So I think you pretty much covered all my questions. And I see Siren is here as well, right? Siren has joined.
And I have to leave. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So great.
You've
got my wheels turning. So
you're excited, Sarah, right?
I appreciate it. I'm gonna go out to the website with a renewed and different look, to try to better understand it. But this has been so helpful.
I'm glad. It's not the most user-friendly software. My husband is a software engineer and so wants to redo this thing. And there's been other people on the forums that are like, oh my gosh, can we please fix this so it's just more user-friendly? But just like anything, once you get used to it, it is.
I don't think it's too bad. I think it's pretty straight ahead. Pick it, move it.
Yeah. And the problem that the only problem that I hear over and over and over again in the Facebook groups and the forums is that for someone who isn't familiar with most software of any kind, I mean, they're just used to just, their phone or whatever, they find it difficult to navigate this. And sometimes when I look at the videos that they have on there, they're not, sometimes they are hard to follow. So
Yes. You're
yeah,
right. Yeah.
sometimes they're hard to follow. They're trying, but sometimes they're hard to follow. So
Yeah, I do have one question here, Louise.
yes.
So let's say I'm looking at the presets, right?
Right.
And I want to run 2 or 3 presets in a sequence. And I
Okay, so are we talking about on the programs one here? Or are we talking about on the presets that you have created?
Not the ones I've created.
Oh, not the ones that you've created, the other ones that are in here.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I go to any of these.
Yeah, any of these in here. So okay, so
and I choose like 2 or 3 and they come down below to preset chain, right? They show up there.
Okay, so let's, like I said, we were doing before with COVID. Okay, so we decided that we want to run
let's say first 2
the first 3 or whatever or something. So essentially you would click on that and then you just click this down arrow for presets to chain. So you have the AstraZeneca and you're like, okay, I want to make sure that I do the Fleming method. The Fleming method does all of this.
Right.
I want to put that in there as a healing program that is in there. And I want to make sure that I do the graphene oxide remove on this one. So we're going to do that and we're going to put that in there. And so now you have 3 chained presets together. Then you would hit this save button.
If I don't want to save it, can I just run it like this, all 3 in chain, or you have to save them?
I think you might have to save them, but let's.
Why don't you want to save it?
Well, I mean, I'm just trying something out. And
okay, so let's try this out. Let's try it out really quick. We have to now each time for me, I have to do the sweep over here to clear the program that was in before, because sometimes for whatever reason, the software just hangs on to this and it doesn't want to put the new one in there. But once you do this, unfortunately, you go back here. Oh, no, actually it stayed. Okay, good.
There, yeah.
So, but see, it doesn't hook up over here. So we're going to have to do it again. So click on that. Nope, it's got it. So I'm not sure that it will do that or if it will do just this AstraZeneca. So we'll go over to the control. We overwrite the generator. We hit this button here. And yes, it will only do the AstraZeneca as far as I know. See, because right here it says total number of presets is only 1. So if you want to do a chained program, if you want to do a chain program like the one that I had in here, the COVID immune chain, if I go over to the control and I get it set up, notice now I have 3 presets set up. So the chain is there. So you will have to save it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Thank you. That's pretty good.
Yes, Jackie.
Yes, I'm sorry. I had to dart in and out. I'm on the air today, and so it's an East Coast midday show, so I have to pop in and out and do the weathers and things like that. Anyway, listen, I hope I didn't miss this, but I don't know what the starting point would be, but my friend who's in St. Pete's had circled back to me and said that she has autoimmune problems. And I don't know, should you run a full terrain program on somebody with autoimmune?
I would, because most autoimmune problems have a cause in toxins. From my own experience and from other experiences, autoimmune is not autoimmune, if that makes any sense. It is something else.
Yeah.
And so if you can,
like Lyme or something.
Yeah, Lyme or mold or, or any type of environmental toxins. So the first step, yes, would most definitely be some kind of terrain program to detox the body as much as possible. And then you can start with symptoms or you can start, you know, you can start with specific, you know, autoimmune that they have. You know, if the terrain program doesn't lessen the symptoms, which I'd be surprised if it didn't, but you can run the terrain program. Sometimes I have had suggestions from people in the groups that you just keep running those terrain programs until the symptoms disappear. But in some ways, you also want to run, you know, support and healing programs for whatever part of the body is dysfunctioning until you can nail down what specifically is causing the autoimmune.
So essentially start with the terrain.
Yeah.
And if it does cause her any difficulty, then I'd run the remedial program, right? Slow down.
Right. Slow it down if it's too much to handle. Some people are like, you know, just stick it out type of thing. But like in the case of the woman who had the hemorrhagic stroke that I'm treating, there's no way that I would do a terrain program on somebody who is that compromised.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'll find out for sure, but I just wanted to check with you in this meeting. I'm really excited to try to help her. Do you think that, because it's Shri and you on here, do you think there'd be any complication with running a terrain program and performing PIDA?
No, there shouldn't
Not
be
really,
any.
no.
Yeah. No, it's just you will be doubling down on breaking out the toxins as well as clearing the meridians. Right. As well. You know, one of the things that that I think a lot of people aren't quite understanding is that it isn't all physical that we're dealing with right now. There's an energetic component that is compromising our immune system. So anything that we can do to open up the meridians and the chakras, that's why there's even chakra programs, the Schumann resonance in the presets is phenomenal. Good. For that type of stuff. There's a chakra balance in there, and it's really surprising how many times lately that I've been setting the programs up that when I'm meditating on it, that comes up as something that has to be put in, is some kind of energetic balancing as well as the healing and killing programs.
Okay. And something else I wanted to ask you, and of course I'm going to sneeze because now they're blowing around. Electric blower and dust is everywhere right outside my windows. But the other thing I was wondering, what is it now? Of course I've lost it. Well, sorry guys, it had to do with both of you. Anyway, it's okay. I'll think about it.
Well, you remember shoot out an email, right? That's what.
The sneeze took it away.
You sneezed it out.
Now, Siren had said something earlier about the morphogenic field, and I think that's part of what we were talking about with how the spooky works, is also that morphogenic field, which I haven't dug into enough. But I
do appreciate what you said about using their image, you know, if necessary, and their address and the picture of their house and picture of them and everything. As a witness, because if they believe it's going to work too, you know, whether it's the placebo effect or it's actually their witness, you know, it doesn't really matter. But if somebody believes that somebody's healing them,
yes,
you know, I think that's huge.
There's a huge component in that. So I don't know. Does anyone else have any other questions?
I don't know. I'm looking forward to watching this back, of course. Oh,
thank you. Thank you so much, Louise. This was so good. And I've recorded it. So let me stop the recording.
I remember my question.
Okay. So before you stop the recording, we may have to,
okay,
we may have to answer this question.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Is there a directory on any of the spooky websites or Facebook pages that shows somebody in your area that has this machine?
I don't believe so. There has been some requests for that, for doing that. I think, They may have, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I touched on it once before where they did have a directory of spooky practitioners, people who are actually charging for the services as opposed to just using it for themselves and friends and family.
Yeah, that's the same with the biocharger, you know, people who just own one.
Mm-hmm.
They're not on any sort of list thing, even though Siren has me hooked up with somebody. We just haven't gotten her permission to treat me. But I was just wondering, you know, because other people, then you could practice and talk in person and stuff like that.
You know, and it might be something that we can attempt to set up ourselves and just advertise on the forums and the pages and that type of thing, because I think there would be a lot of people who would be very, you know, very interested in that kind of thing.
Yeah, connecting the local area will be very good, right? So,
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You've done a remarkable job. You're a very good teacher. Thank you.
yeah, thank you so much, Louise. Thank you.
Thank you very